post-COVID era. Competition for secondary school. Paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.nj. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Olatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of chemical engineering law at Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Olatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of chemical engineering law at Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Olatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of chemical engineering law at Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Olatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of chemical engineering law at Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Olatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of chemical engineering law at Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. with the theme Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League quiz competition for secondary school. Quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League quiz competition for secondary school. Quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League quiz competition for secondary school. Quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League quiz competition for secondary school. Quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League quiz competition for secondary school. Quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student. Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, He's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program with the theme Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program with the theme Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program with the theme Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program with the theme Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current President of the Association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program with the theme Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current National President, Dada Mansur Olatunji, the fourth President of the Association. Dada Mansur Olatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, women in engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, Nuesa, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Dada Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Dada Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsnational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESER, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsanational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsanational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsanational.org.ng. Proudly brought to you by Nigeria University Engineering Students Association. Nigeria University's Engineering Students Association, NUESA, National Secretariat. Present. National Engineering Summit, NES 2020. Hosted by the current national president, Donna Mansur Alatunji, the fourth president of the association. Donna Mansur Alatunji is a first-class male student of Chemical Engineering Law Tech, Oyo State. As the current president of the association, he's organizing the first ever National Engineering Summit, which has been scheduled as 5 days program. With the theme, Engineering and Social Economic Development in a Post-COVID Era, featuring the Graduating League, quiz competition for secondary school, quiz and paper presentation for the undergraduate student, Women in Engineering. To register, visit www.newsanational.org.ng.
Hello and good morning. Welcome to the day 2 of the Nuesa Engineering Summit. If today is your first day of joining us, this started yesterday and it has been an interesting experience since yesterday. We had interesting sessions with our speakers yesterday. Specifically, we had on board the president of Nigerian Society of Engineers yesterday to share with us from his wealth of experience in person of Engineer Babagana Mohammed, FNSC, who happened to be our distinguished guest of honor yesterday. He graced us with his presence, and interestingly, he stayed till the end of the conference yesterday, and that is something we do not take for granted. Uh, I know we have our panelists for today on board already. They are joining in a moment. We'll definitely recognize you. Engineer Denny Roy, Engineer Professor Mohammed Dauda, Sir Sanjay Fagbemiro, Sir Cletus, and everybody, Mr. Nwodi Wosu, your presence is much appreciated. So yesterday, like I was saying, for all our participants joining on Zoom and those joining us via YouTube, we had the presence of the Nigerian Society of Engineers president yesterday. As well, we had the managing director and chief executive of Total E&P Nigeria Limited yesterday as well, in person of engineer Mike Santa. The current president was ably represented yesterday too, engineer Ali Rabiu, FNSC. And there was something that cut across the things they all shared with us, is the fact that as engineers, as engineering students, our primary assignment is to build. Our primary role is to be solution providers. And we are taking that to heart. They made a lot of promises and a lot of, word of advices to tell us that, yes, we have support from the parent body. They understand the challenges we might have been going through. They went through that same phase as well. And they are willing to do everything possible to help correct that. Specifically, they all talk about the challenges this pandemic had brought and how it has challenged every one of us to do things differently, to explore other options and the opportunities available at the long run. And if there was something that was underlying, is the fact that problems are pointers to opportunities. And it depends on how creative we are, how innovative we are, before we can take advantage of that. Before, the traditional way of having events was to meet together in a physical location. But when these all happened, we had to become innovative. We had to take our meetings, our conferences virtual. So somebody that tapped into that and developed a platform that can be used for such programs is taking advantage of such opportunities. Another thing that is common that has happened over time since the pandemic began is we needed to wash our hands more often. People start to be innovative in how they produce hand sanitizers. People became more more creative in how they come up with solutions as to water dispensers. There was a challenge with the traditional way of using water tap before, because after washing your hands, you still have to touch the surface. So people became innovative in how those challenges are solved. So if we were pushed to see problems differently, in a moment we'll be starting, but I just wanted to do a recap of how yesterday went. We'll be taking the opening prayer very soon, as well as honoring our nation Nigeria by taking the national anthem. I believe Sirajo Adamu, the Nuesa Vice President for Zone A, is with us already. He will be the one to take the opening prayer for us. So, in a moment, we'll be kickstarting that. So I welcome everybody. Today is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a panel discussion, and we have seasoned professionals from all walks of life that are ready to give answers to our questions. We want to tap from their wealth of experience. Another thing that was mentioned yesterday was a very important variable in a career journey, which is mentorship. And we believe whatever we are trying to do now, whatever ideas we have now, whatever projections we are having as young adults, as students, they have gone through that same journey before. And their experiences is going to be something we can run with. So today is interesting. I will enjoy every of our participants. Please drop your questions on our platforms. The live chat is available on YouTube channel. We have the chat box on the Zoom channel if you're with us. Drop your questions. don't wait till the end of the panel session before you drop your question so that we can compile them. We understand our resource persons are very occupied. So we are not taking this opportunity for granted. We know they have to leave other things to join us and spend moment with us today. So please, let's take advantage of that. Let's combine our questions. Let's pull them together. We have people handling support that are going to compile that and send it across to the necessary quarter. Thank you. So in a moment, we are going to get it rolling. I'm excited. So if I have Siraju Adamu on board, can you please give us the opening prayer? Siraju Adamu, the Nuesa Vice President from Zone A. If he's on board, can you please give us the opening prayer? Oh, I think he's having technical issues. And of course, this is a challenge to every engineering student. This is a problem that is still prevalent. The problem of internet connection, this is something we all must come together to find solution to, from the perspective of policymakers, to the perspective of engineers, from the angle of academics and academicians and all of those people. We all must come together to solve the problem of internet connection. I have personally told myself a long time ago that I would be deliberate in how I see Africa as a whole and how I see Nigeria. Two very distinct pictures comes to mind when people see Africa. I'm going to be talking about Africa because Africa is a global space. There are people who see Africa and Nigeria specifically, and they see a continent, they see a nation that is plagued with all forms of problems, talking about hunger, talking about dirt, talking about problems with accommodation and all of that. But some other person decide to see Nigeria and Africa as a whole as a land of opportunity. So talking about dirt, instead of seeing Africa and Nigeria as a place that is dirty, I decided to see it as an opportunity to start a waste management business. Instead of seeing Nigeria as a continent that is plagued with hunger, I decided to see it as a continent where I can go into food business, where I can go into agricultural business. So either I'm a policy maker, or I'm an engineer, or I'm a student, I am deliberate about building this conscious mindset of being able to proffer solution. So I think the person to take the opening prayer is having challenges. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that to save us our time. So I'm going to be giving us the opening prayer in the Christian way. So I believe towards the end of the program, we will take the closing prayer in the Muslim way to balance things up. So, Lord Jesus, we thank you for today's conference. Thank you for yesterday, for the ideas that came on board, for the ideas that were shared. And we'll pray that today's one will be more productive as well. We'll go with ideas, and we'll just have those ideas. We'll build on them and bring solutions on board. And we'll be trailblazers for this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. We are good to go. We are good to go. We are good to go. If you're joining us, I would like you to put on your camera so that we can see our faces. We have people joining us from across the nation, and they would like to put faces to the names. They would like to put faces to the name. And in a moment, we'll be taking the national anthem. We'll be taking the national anthem in a moment. So wherever you are, do well to honor our nation with the national anthem.
If you are now reading this of five Java, the electoral speed because of
All right.
And
thank you for that. Thank you for honoring our nation. Thank you for honoring our nation. Thank you for honoring our nation. We are patriots, and we understand that after God, our nation comes second. After God, our nation comes second. Yes, there was a question I asked yesterday that in the next 50 years, personally, what will it mean to you when you tell someone I'm a Nigerian? That we must all evolve beyond, having to analyze the problems plaguing Nigeria. It is something very easy for anyone to do, and it's something we all do every time. Nigeria is a bad country, Nigeria is not working, everything is not working. Yes, we know that. We all have experienced it, we all have witnessed it. But the question is this: what am I contributing to that narrative? What am I bringing on board to that narrative? What is it going to mean when I stand on a platform in the next 50 years and I tell somebody I am a Nigerian? What is that going to mean? So these are some of the questions we are hoping to get answers to today. And that is why as students, as a body, as engineering students, we have decided to start asking the right set of questions and start going to the necessary quarters, to start going to professionals, to ask them, these challenges we have ideas, we have seen some things go wrong. We see industries asking for professionals and universities saying, we are training people, we have the best curriculum. But these same students that are trained by the institution, they get into the industry and the industry will tell us they're not meeting our requirements. So there is a very wide gap. And it affects every sector. In policy making, we have students who are graduates of political science, we have people who have leadership potential, but they get into the secular space, they want to play leadership position, they can't measure up. So we realize a way to solve that problem is to start to contribute our own quota to bridge the gap. So today we have our seasoned professionals with us, and I'm going to be reading out their profile in a minute. Let me take this time to appreciate everybody joining us, specifically from Nigerian Society of Engineers, our parent body. We appreciate your support. Engineer Nene Wegbe, thank you very much for everything you've done. She is a major engine driving this. We had a lot of technical issues, a lot of things, but she was like, this is brilliant and we're gonna make this happen. And we are really grateful for that. Very soon, before I start reading the profile, I would have the president, Nuesa, on board to give us opening speech. I will have him on board to give us opening speech. So while we do that, I'm going to be putting together. So I'll be having, I'm just trying to wait for all of our resource persons to join so that they can test their audio and test their video so that we would have an interesting time. We have seasoned professionals and I can tell you it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So quickly, let me have the Nuesa National President give his opening remark.
Good morning to you all. The President of Nigerian Society of Engineers, the Deputy President, the Vice President, the NSC Working Committee, the BTG Coordinator, Nuesa National Executive Member, Chapter President, the Moderator, all engineering students. Greeting you all with all form of greeting. My name is Dauda Masiu Olatunji. I am the national president of the whole engineering students in Nigeria. Today, being the second day of the first National Engineering Summit in Nigeria, we are going to be bridging the gap between the academics and industrial requirements. The recent graduate internship report give an insight into the level of urgency required to address the challenges facing the Nigerian labor market. So today, we are going to be hosting prolific engineers, Engineer Professor Mohammed Dahoud, the professor from Maduguri. We are going to be hosting Engineer Ibitoye KLM, Kilomadema, the SA to the Governor of Osun State on water and energy. We are going to be hosting Cletus J. Ajibade, my mentor from Ladoke Agricultural University of Technology. And we are going to be hosting Mr. Sunday Fagbemiro from chemical engineering, a chemical engineering graduate from Ladoke Agricultural University of Technology. And my mentor, Unwodi Unwosu. Thank you all for joining this program.
All right, that was an interesting one. Thank you to the president for that interesting speech. So in a moment, I'm going to be introducing our resource persons one after the other. And of course, it's a privilege and an honor to actually be doing that. When I was going through their profile, it was a major challenge to me, specifically because these are people who have built reputable careers, and it was challenging to me. I felt challenged just starting out as a young person trying to build my own career. I was able to glimpse through the things they had done, and it gave me ideas on how I can navigate my own career path as well. So without further ado, I'm going to be reading out the profile of each of our resource persons. And of course, by the time the panel discussion kickstarts, they are going to have a moment to talk about themselves as well. So starting out, I'm going to be reading the citation of Nwodi Egunewoso. You're going to pardon my intonation, and if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. I'm a Yoruba boy from Southwest, but I'm a Nigerian. So, Nwodi Egunewoso is an academia, career counselor, and researcher at Federal Polytechnic of Oil and Gas, Bonny, who is dedicated to innovation and projecting values among young engineers and professionals. During his service here in Lagos, he was a recipient of the state honor as he was top 5 from 10,200 core members in 2012. Having a 2-year journey through the service industry as a wireline field specialist at Halliburton, where he was part of a team that successfully carried out various wireline operations in Kumani River location, Bauchi in northern state, in northern Nigeria, with outstanding performance in various researches of downhole formations, of data recording and sample collections. Nwodi holds a Bachelor of Engineering in Petroleum Engineering from University of Port Harcourt, Executive Master Certification in Project Management from Project People Institute. He is passionate about mentoring, counseling, lead advocacy of young professionals through organizing symposium, webinars, seminars, workshops, training, conference, all geared towards career development and projection. Nwodi is an active volunteer of SPE with over 50 ambassadorial lectures, pardon me. Nwodi is an active volunteer of SPE with over 50 ambassadorial lectures program across Nigerian universities, and currently the co-young professional chairman of the ACOT section. With great pleasure, I welcome our resource person in person of Nwodi. Thank you really for sparing time with us today. We do not take it for granted. We really appreciate you coming on board. Interestingly, I am somebody who feels challenged, and I'm always looking up for mentors in the industry who happen to be females. So whenever I see our mothers who are doing exceptionally well in the industry, I am always excited. And it will interest us all today to know that we have one of our mothers on board. The president apologizes profusely and sincerely for not recognizing you while he was giving his speech. We hope we have not committed any career blunder so far. Yes, so the second resource person we have for today, I'm going to be sharing her profile with us, is in person of Hawa Muhammad Sadiq. Hawa Muhammad Sadiq, she was born on the 3rd of February 1969 to the family of Muhammad Abubakar Shawa and Amina Muhammad. She hails from Labiye Shuwari, Mafa local government area of Borno State. She had her primary education at the Army Command Children's School, Kaduna, Queen Amina College, Hakuri, Kaduna, and the Federal Polytechnic, Bauchi. She had a Bachelor of Engineering in Agric Engineering and had an MSc in Economics from Bayero University, Kano. A registered engineer with the Nigerian Society of Engineers and also current certified engineer. A member of the Institute of Agricultural Engineers and the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, APO. A staff of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and rose to the Assistant Director with the Department of Dams and Reservoir Operations of the ministry. She is happily married and blessed with children. I wish we can all unmute our mic and we jam our hands together to appreciate her career journey and to appreciate how much she's done. Somehow, I wish this was a physical meetup. I like having that energy in the hall. I like having that engagement, that interaction in the hall. You know, but we have to make do whatever we can today, and we will enjoy it. I know we're going to have an interesting one from that end today. Thank you very much for that. Going forward, I'm going to introduce someone very interesting. I took a particular interest in this profile because I have interest in politics and policy making and decision and every of those things. I understand that specifically, before anybody can make a difference in our society, policy is one of those platforms. Politics give us that platform to, effect changes. And I am glad that we now have professionals. Gone are the days that we have non-professionals holding leadership position in our secular, in our politics, making policies for us. So it actually excites me when I have professionals, well-trained engineers, and people who are authority in their field take up leadership position. Sincerely, I have that peace of mind. I feel at rest when I see that. So I'm going to be taking a citation in a moment. I'm going to be taking a citation in a moment. So the next person who happened to be on our list today is Engineer Prince Honorable Ibitoye Adeniran Felix. Engineer Prince Honorable Ibitoye Adeniran Felix is a royal prince from Osun State who is also known and called Ibitoye Kilomodemo Adeniran, nicknamed KLM. He's the Vice President of Nigerian Society of Engineers. He is presently a high-ranking cabinet member in Osun State and also the managing partner, Ibiba Royal, a division of Royal Synergy Associate Limited, and the CEO KLMD1 Initiative, which happened to be an NGO. He had his primary and secondary education at Akure before proceeding to Edo State University, now Ekiti State University, Ado Ekiti, where he backed second class upper division in mechanical engineering. He did his NYSC program with Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC, Warri, and won a state award as the overall parade commander during his service year in 1994-1995. He later obtained his master's in public administration at Ladoke Akintola University, Lautech, Ogbomoso, Oyo State, in the year 2010. Engineer Ibitoye Adeniran Kilomodemo was the brain behind innovation, technovation, and new strategies in the ICT, membership services, and media department of the society. He was a member of the Osun State House of Assembly for the year 2003 to 2007. He has presented some technical and professional papers and has attended many local and international conferences within and outside the country. Engineer Ibitoye, a good ambassador to the professional body he belongs, has consistently been at the forefront promoting engineering and the body of engineers in Nigeria. He was instrumental to the formation of the chapter division of Nigerian Institute of Mechanical Engineers in Osun State, which made the state to host the national conference of the institution the same year, 2009. During his tenure as the 16th chairman of Osogbo branch, he facilitated the approval and creation of NSC Osogbo Examination Center for intending corporate members, which was approved on the 11th of February 2015. His tenure as the Osogbo branch chairman promoted young engineers. He enjoys information technology, which has positioned him well among his colleagues and the society. He is also responsible for his outstanding success during his tenure as the chairman of the branch, which made Osogbo branch to clinch second position consecutively in the NSC Group Dynamics competition in 2015 and 2016, respectively. With more creativity and innovation, the branch came first in 2017 Group Dynamics competition. These are the best records so far in the history of the branch and Osun State. Can we please jam our hands together? Please unmute your mic and jam your hands together while we appreciate his career and his contribution to the engineering profession as a whole. Wow, it's becoming interesting already. It's becoming interesting. These are interesting profiles. These are interesting profiles. These are interesting profiles. Without further ado, let me go to the next profile I have on my list. Let me go to the next profile I have on my list. In profession of our engineer and a professor. Today is going to be interesting. Somehow I'm having that feeling of a beautiful time today because these are people who have not been passive in every offices they have held. They have always raised the bar. They have always challenged the status quo. They have always challenged the status quo. So the next profile I have here with me as our resource person is Engineer Professor Mohammed Dauda, FNSC, FNIMECHE. Engineer Mohammed Dauda is a professor of mechanical engineering with diverse research interest in advanced materials and advanced manufacturing, technology and emerging technologies, such as additive manufacturing, which is also known as 3D printing. Professor Mohammed Dauda was a former HOD of Mechanical Engineering, University of Maiduguri, the pioneer managing director and chief executive of Advanced Manufacturing Technology Program, Jalingo, a research and development center under the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, as well as a former director of engineering infrastructure at the NASENI headquarters, Abuja. His vast knowledge and experience emanating from the combination of training he received from within and outside the country, coupled with his years of academic and industry practice, makes him a great mentor for students and staff, startups, innovators, and inventors as well. Professor Dauda, who hails from Potiskum in Yobe State, obtained his Bachelor of Engineering degree in Mechanical from the University of Maiduguri in the year 1990. He bagged the Masters of Science degree in Mechanical from the University of Lagos in 1994 and a Doctor of Engineering degree from Tokyo Metropolitan University, Japan in 2002. Started his career in 1992 as a graduate assistant in the Department of Maiduguri in 2012. He is a current registered engineer, fellow and corporate member of many professional bodies, including the Nigerian Society of Engineers, the Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers, and the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. as just to name a few. In recognition of his hard work, Professor Dauda has won many merits and academic honors, including the Japanese Government Scholarship, Ford Foundation Tech Teaching Innovation Award, Japan Society for the Promotion of Science, Postdoctoral Research Award, Materials Research Society of Japan, Best Research Award, UNESCO and People's Republic of China Great War Fellowship. This great leader is a teacher and an outstanding administrator par excellence, a dynamic engineer, multilingual, who is fluent in Japanese language and a first speaker of Chinese language. He is a pioneer and current president, Nigerian Japan Alumni Association. Truly, what appeals to the entire being of this great scholar is engineering, but he finds leisure in photography and watching natural phenomena, including captivating landscapes. Professor Dauda is happily married and the union is blessed with 3 adorable daughters. Can we please jam our hands together as we appreciate him, as we appreciate our professor? Can we please jam our hands together? Let's unmute our mic and jam our hands together. I want to feel that energy. I want to feel that energy. Wow, this has been very interesting and challenging profile, I must say. This has been very interesting and challenging profile, I must. All right. So going forward, I still have a couple of profiles to read and I'm going to run through them. You know, the challenge I'm having is these careers, these profiles, they are too interesting to just brush over them just like that. You know, it is worth taking time to study, actually. So I'm going to I'll talk about our next resource person that we have. I'll share his profile with us and run through it in a moment. So the next person on our list is Cletus Ajibade. When they sent me this profile, I was asking, please, why is this person not putting title? Why is this person not putting title? I was waiting for that. So quickly, Cletus Ajibade is a technology advocate, a social entrepreneur, and software engineer. He is an IBM-powered ACM ICPC fellow, a TESOLAT scholar, and a GS Plus Young Innovator in the world, honored by President Barack Obama. In 2016, he co-founded Safer Mom, an innovative startup leveraging mobile technology to solve the problem of infant and maternal mortality in Nigeria. At Safer Mom, he believed no woman should die during childbirth. Therefore, pregnant women were empowered to make better health decisions with any mobile phone. This service later became Baby Mingo, an online community for mothers and expecting mothers. In 2017, being one of the winners of Facebook Internet.org Innovation Challenge in Africa, he and his team were invited to F8, the annual Facebook Developer Conference in California, where he met with Mark Zuckerberg. His team was also part of the 12 startups for the first edition of the Google Launchpad Accelerator in Africa, where they got mentorship and equity-free funding from Google. As a software engineer, Cletus has worked in the fintech space, where he handled leadership roles that sought the Finacle 10 implementation for various banks across Africa. While at university, he founded Coders Africa, an initiative that focused on ICT training and capacity building for the youth to solve Africa's problem using technology. He successfully trained IT professionals and software engineers holding roles in different companies in Nigeria. Mr. Cletus is a recipient of numerous awards such as the Excellent Merit Award, Nigerian Society of Engineers Award, and the NITDA ESOP Award for Indigenous IT Solutions. He has always believed in the power of education and he seizes every opportunity he gets to guide and mentor young people to pursue and achieve their goals through writing. Can we please jam our hands together as we appreciate Mr. Cletus and appreciate what he has done? Can we please jam our hands together to appreciate him? In fact, I'm going to... His profile interests me because personally, it's like, the career journey I'm hoping to take myself. There was a statement I heard some time ago, And the statement was that we are responsible to building the Africa we desire. It is our duty to build the Africa of our dream. It is our duty and our responsibility to build the Africa of our dream. It is our duty to mention the Africa of our dream. He is an alumni of Lautech, so Lautech are always blazing the trail. Lautech are always blazing. Lautech products have been known to be very innovative. Yes, one of the things I appreciate about his profile is he did not export his skills and expertise to other continents. You know, people have skills and well, the pay is better outside there and all of that. But it will interest us that he decided to stay back and use that skill to better our nation. That is something I really appreciate about his career. Going further, I hope the next person is a Lautech alumni as well, because Lautech is a trailblazer. Well, I can't help that bias. I'm a Lautech product myself, and I'm into IT, so intimidation will condone not. I believe when it comes on board, you still remember that mantra that we use. Great Lautech. All right, going further, I have another very fantastic profile here with me that I'm going to be sharing with us. In person of Mr. Sunday Fagbemiro. You know, these are very fantastic profiles. People have done quite well building a reputable career. Mr. Sunday Fagbemiro graduated with a first-class honor in chemical engineering from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology of Ogbomoso. I said it in the year 2001. He was the best graduating student in the set. He also obtained his MBA from Bafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State in 2012. He has 17 years working experience, 14 of which is in the upstream oil and gas industry. He started his career in the banking industry, a very short one, and subsequently moved to the telecommunication industry, the team lead customer care for Globalcom Limited, before moving to the downstream oil and gas procurement officer for Cornwell PLC. He is currently a drilling engineer with one of the IOCs in Nigeria. He has worked both in Nigeria and in the USA. As a drilling engineer, some of his experience in oil and gas industry includes, but not limited to the following. He supervised offshore drilling operations on drilling rigs, planning of upcoming drilling projects, well-controlled instructor for drilling engineers. He has taught well-controlled in Nigeria, USA, Thailand, Angola, Australia, Aberdeen, government liaison on budget and performance. Mr. Sunday Fagbemiro is a registered member of Society of Petroleum Engineers amidst other professional membership. He loves counseling and encouraging people, especially youth. He is married with children. Can we please appreciate his profile? Can we appreciate this person? Yes. Don't worry, we'll soon jump into the interesting session. So last on the list as one of our resource person that we have today is Mr. Nwonodi Egbune Wosu. You will please pardon my pronunciation. You know, I'm a Nigerian. So I speak all language fluently and I speak Google Translate fluently. All right. It's interesting. He happened to be the mentor to the president of Nuesa. And like I said earlier, that sincerely I appreciate the kind of people that are holding leadership position now. So I'm going to run through his profile, Mr. Nwonodi Egbune Wosu. He's an academia, a career counselor, and researcher at the Federal Polytechnic of Oil and Gas Body, who is dedicated to innovation and projecting values among young engineers and professionals. Oh, I think I've gone through his profile before. It must have been very interesting for me to come back for it. So without much further ado, I think I'll just go over it again. I'll go over it again just to be safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. During his service here in Lagos, he was a recipient of state honor as he was top 5 from over 10,000 corps members in 2012. He had a 2-year journey through service industry as a wireline field specialist at Halliburton, where he was part of the team that successfully carried out various wireline operations in Gomani River location, Bauchi in northern Nigeria, with outstanding performance in various characteristics of downhole formations of data recording and sample collections. Nwodi holds Bachelor of Engineering in Petroleum Engineering from University of Port Harcourt, Executive Master Certification in Project Management from Project People Institute. He is passionate about mentoring, counseling, lead advocacy of young professionals through organizing symposium, webinars, seminars, workshops, training and conference, all geared towards career development and projection. Nwodi is an active volunteer of SPE with over 50 ambassadorial lectures program across Nigerian universities, and currently the co-young professionals chairman of Port Harcourt session. Can we please appreciate him once again? Can we please appreciate him once again? Yes, we are there. We are there. We are there. In a moment, we will be fielding questions to our resource person. So I would appreciate our resource person to unmute their mic at this moment, as well as their camera, so that we can have them on board. So I'm going to be going straight into the question, and our resource person, while you answer the question, you can briefly share with us whatever I might have omitted and all of that. So you have the floor. You have the floor. All right. In no particular order, I'm going to start with the first question. So please, our participants, always make use of the chat box, drop questions. So the first question is this. Considering the look of things, the academic world is about to be shaped by this happening, the post-COVID-19. What do you see as the future of academics in Nigeria? How can students hoping to become academics, prepare themselves to be able to accurately fit into the newer system? COVID-19 has disrupted a whole lot of things, the way we learn, the way we study, and all of that. So the question is, how can we as students hoping to build a career, how can we do that? So I'm going to start with Engineer Deniro Ibitoye with the first question, sir. Engineer Deniro Ibitoye, how can we brace ourselves as students?
Thank you so much, the moderator. I hope I'm being heard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you hearing me? Okay, that's good. First of all, I have to appreciate you for considering me to be part of these epoch events. I so much appreciate, because you are leaders of tomorrow, and for bringing us on board to be mentors, to be valuers, to be your guide. We so much appreciate on behalf of other panelists. Come to think of your question, nothing in this world that has advantage that does not have its own disadvantage. We do not pray for COVID-19 pandemic or whatever it is being called. But the truth of the matter is that COVID-19 has come to stay. Come to think of malaria. In the advanced world, malaria is a big disease that they regard as deadly. But in Africa, malaria is at every home. You just agree with me. So what we are seeing as post-COVID-19 might be the same. But let me just say at this particular time that we need to conquer COVID-19 pandemic that we call coronavirus. But we are not talking of conquering it with drugs or medicine, but we are thinking of working outside, thinking outside the box, especially the professionals. What I'm talking about is from the political perspective in the government area, how can we make sure that we enact laws that will be actually be implemented that will help the students and help the education in this country? Look at the researchers. Most of them are not, the research institutions are not, and they are nothing to write home about as compared to the advanced countries. But I'm of the opinion as a politician, as a political engineer, that there should be all attempts that will be put in place, all attempts that, the government should act promptly on policies that will assist the children and students of different learning. And students who are ready, who are planning to go into academics, I want to advise them, they should brace up. They should be ready to upgrade themselves. to beat the present day challenge in this country. Look at our young leaders of tomorrow. Most of them, they work with their laptops, they work with their handsets on, probably to just chat with friends. We are far beyond that. We should be thinking of using our gadgets, every gadget we have, all the internet facilities to upgrade ourselves to help us to study, both theoretical and practical. You don't want to do research, you want to do everything. We should be yearning for creativity, we should be yearning for innovation. This is the time that we should be able to match up with the advanced country. When you're talking of government does not help, government does not do this, we should think far beyond that. How can you help yourself? Post-COVID-19 should tell us how do we assist ourselves. This is the time of high tech. Like you said at the beginning of the program, you said yesterday that they thought that engineers should be builders and we should be service providers. Yes, we know technology, but how do we move forward? We should just, I look at times, I laugh when I see our young engineers complaining about the country, about the situation of the country. If you're expecting government to help you, you are going nowhere. All I want people to do is that everybody should think beyond what is at stake. We should be thinking of this post-COVID-19 that you are talking about. We should be thinking of how can we assist ourselves. Because government we are talking about is of the people, by the people, and for the people. Government is individuals that come together to form an entity. So tomorrow, anybody wants to venture to maybe how to make it, you should think beyond today. You should think outside the box. You should think of how can you help yourself so that when it's your time that you want to be in governance, then you'll be able to assist yourself and assist the entire system. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. That was really beautiful. I really appreciate that, sir. Yes, quickly, I want to go to Engineer Professor Mohammed. And he's going to be addressing the same question, but I want him to put this into consideration as well when he's answering that question. Making reference to the Finland system of education, the overall system is not there to just train students to ram and cram information, and all of that. But they create an environment of holistic learning. How can lecturers and students contribute their quota to build a better system of education? So, Engineer Professor Mohammed Dauda, sir, I would like you to help address these two questions while you give us the answer, sir.
Yeah, hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, we are with you, sir.
Loud and clear, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh, okay, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with you here. In particular, it's an answer. I had to come to answer a call from Nuesa. It is an association that I cherish so much right from my days as student in the university. It is interesting to note that we are taking on a very important national assignment. This particular activity is something that ought to have been handled by the government. And if the government is not going to handle it directly, they would have sponsored Nuesa to handle this one. This is very important and it must be noted. While I say that, regarding learning in the 21st century and how students, particularly students and lecturers, will contribute towards an advancement in learning after the COVID-19. Because COVID-19 has come to stay, as the previous speaker said. It is true that we can't change anything about it. It is here. However, what the COVID-19 came with related to the lockdown and other things, in my opinion, it has come with something that we call unlocking our various skills and talents in order to create a better environment for the world. For instance, at the moment, there are about 43 federal universities in Nigeria, 47 state universities in Nigeria, 75 private universities. Out of the 43 federal universities in Nigeria, only 8 universities were approved to run an online degree courses or online courses. Any other university outside the 8 universities that were approved by the government will not be allowed to run any online course. So that suggests that why do we have up to 43 federal universities, but only 8 were approved for online courses? There is more to it. I am sure that you know the status of the online or anything that has to do with the ICT services for education. We have about 4 different categories: the e-learning, the mobile learning, the interactive distance learning, and e-collaboration. Many people don't understand that the e-collaboration, that is what we're doing now. That is Zoom, all this, Zoom, WebEx, Skype, Microsoft Team, Google Classroom is one of the aspects. So out of these 4, which of the university or how many universities can we say that are really ready to do that? I understand there are about 3 universities in Nigeria that are actually solid about this. As far as I know, there are about 3, private universities. I know about the National University. I know about the Basin University of Nigeria.
I think the professor is having, there's issue with his connection. There's issue with internet connection. All right.
I know also about some. Are we together? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
We can hear
Yes,
you.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. I'm sorry about the situation. This is one of the problems that we are going to address later in this course, in this particular program. So what I'm saying essentially is that in the private, public universities, we have to understand that we are not really prepared for anything like, a kind of post-COVID education in Nigeria. So some of the universities that are making headway, including University of Lagos, University of Ibadan, University of Ilorin, which is one of the universities that actually use internet or ICT as part of their own development plans. They have grown far and wide. Recently, they claimed to be prepared 70% to accommodate both students and teachers' activities online. So that is to say that there are universities that were more proactive right from the beginning, before even the COVID-19. So the students will have to really prepare, since it is not the kind of this is not the traditional method of curriculum delivery. Now we have to understand that the students will have to prepare themselves and learn some management applications and digital tools that will allow them to participate and to receive knowledge actively with or without face-to-face teaching methodology. If we are to prepare as a nation for this, it means that we have to consider both the students and the lecturers. And if we are to do that, we have to think in this way. We need to think about the content of infrastructure. We have to think about the delivery infrastructure. And finally, we have to think about the access infrastructure. The students must be ready to have personal computers or tablets or whatever kind of mobile devices that will be able to allow them to interact. In the cyber world, the teachers must be ready to upgrade and really operate. So this has to change because the world has changed. So what I mean is that there must be investment. As someone said, it must be followed by an emergency policy if it is not in place for the universities, lecturers and students to upgrade content based on these three categories: content infrastructure, delivery infrastructure, and then access infrastructure. We are aware that there has never been education became almost free all over the world like this time. I'm sure, but that you are aware, major publishing companies, including journal companies, they give almost several opportunities for people to download journals, books for free. There are laboratories, online laboratories. So what I mean, the idea of having the difference between the pre-COVID period and post-COVID period will be pre-COVID period, you have to struggle to get teaching materials or learning materials. But in post-COVID period, you have them available, both learning and teaching, materials will be there for you. The problem is now up to you to know how to manage the information. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, Professor. That was really,
Hello?
really eye-opening. Oh, we are with you. So thank you very much for that. Yes, yes. Moving forward. I'm going to be having Mr. Cletus Ajibade address the same question that was asked, address the same question that was asked, considering the look of things, the pre-COVID and the future of academics. And of course, I want you to also address this other question. What are some of the non-obvious entry-level opportunities available in your field? And how can students and recent graduates take advantage of them? So yes, we understand the dynamics is changing, the style of doing things are changing. People want to be academics and people want to go into industry. But as a seasoned professional with your years of experience being an inventor, being a founder and all of that, what are some of the non-obvious entry opportunities available in your field?
All right. Thank you very much. I really, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to, to talk to Nigerian students in engineering. And I'm glad to also be featured alongside, eminent Nigerians who are doing great things. Yeah, like it has been agreed already, COVID-19 has come to stay. Statistics have actually shown that around 1.3 to like 1.5 billion students all over the world have been impacted as a result of COVID-19. Students at home now, all over the world, they are not at school, parents are suffering and all that. And I want to believe that, in the midst of this, parents still want their children to continue to study. So I believe now and in the future, education really depends on access to technology. It is beyond, just sitting in the four walls of the university. We must create opportunities. The government must create opportunities whereby, students, even though they're at home at this point in time, they have access to, to technology for them to go online to study. There are many programs that are online now. You can take courses. There are open course programs out there. You don't even have to pay anything. You go online and have access to those opportunities. So I believe, yeah, internet will greatly play a role. Post-COVID, because it has come to stay. It will get to a point. Somebody was saying recently that it will get to a point that we just have to continue putting on our face mask. Even you are there on the flight, you are traveling across the world. You just have to stick to what the government is saying concerning how to help yourself. So I believe technology will play a great role. Then one other thing I've observed is that education, people are changing the ways by which they educate themselves nowadays. I was reading an article recently. There are 15 minutes MBA classes online. Like, 15 minutes per day you go online and you learn something. And this will greatly, help us back in Africa, back in Nigeria, because we know data or internet connectivity is not cheap. I believe if you know that you have 15 minutes to spend on a lecture per day, you know how to invest your money, in getting your data, because data is not cheap, like I said. So there are platforms. There's a platform called Power MBA. There's a platform called Smartly. There's Quantic. In fact, there's one by a Nigerian professor. If you've been active on LinkedIn, it's called Techidia Mini MBA. So, and these are opportunities that people can actually leverage on to learn, to grow, even though you're at home at this point. And one thing I love so much about these ideas is that these courses, these programs are taught by seasoned professionals, not necessarily lecturers in the university. Of course, there are lecturers, there are professors in the universities who are taking part in this platform. So you have access to CEOs, CTOs, people who are professionals in their fields. They come online and they take these courses. So yeah, we shouldn't just rely on especially our engineering students should not just wait at home at this point. They should go online. They should use that data that they have, for something, constructive. Add value to yourself. At this point, don't waste your time. Don't just waste your time on social media. Yes, it is good to be online. It is good to network. It is good to meet people. There must be a reason why you are going online, not just to while away time. This is a time for us to sit down, learn and grow, because after COVID, or who knows when this will come to an end, things may not really go back to what we've been used to. We might end up taking classes online, for the rest of your life. Or, there are people who ended their programs, sitting at home, taking lectures, they wrote exams at home and all that. So I believe this will continue for a long time. Then we should understand the fact that, as students, we need support system. We need people who can help us. You cannot do this by yourself. That's why I mentioned, when you go online, understand what you are doing. Network with these seasoned professionals. They are the ones taking these courses. Reach out to them. Reach out to them. They can mentor you. They can mentor you. Then, talking about um, opportunities in my field that are not so obvious. I believe that, with my experience, what I've noticed is that internship opportunities, especially for startups in Nigeria, are not really advertised. So if you're a student, in your program, and you want to have access to internship, you want to do something with startups, in the city, or in the city where you are, you have to network with these people, reach out to them, go to places. I've observed that students don't want to go to conferences or seminars. Go out, meet people, talk to people, build a network of people that can help you, that can add value to yourself. Because if an opportunity is not advertised, there is no way you have access to this opportunity. In fact, I receive, so many, notifications or messages from people, startups, young startups. Of course, they don't have the budget to put their adverts online and all that. But these people are doing very, very well. They are solving problems in Nigeria. But they need young people like us. They need young engineers like you to help them solve those problems. So reach out to those people and see how to, get involved, be active in the process. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for that explosive one. That was mind blowing. That was mind blowing. So attend conferences, network with people. Don't keep quiet. Don't keep quiet. That's important. Oh, that's great. We're making good progress. Yes, I'm going to move to Engineer Hawa. Yes, I want her to still address the same issue, but this time I would like you, Ma, to help us address this issue of we are in a world where sexual harassment and assault of female gender is highly prevalent, and the wanton sexual discrimination in the industry where male is dominant. You have built a career, you've built your journey as an engineer, as a female, in a career that is male dominant. What ways can young female engineers, how can they build their career successfully? We are in a time where it's easy to silence female children, if not now that a lot of people are contributing to encourage them. So, Engineer Hawa Mohammed, I would like you to put these into consideration when addressing the question, ma. Trying to have on board. All right, all right. I think she's trying to solve issue of internet connection. While she tries to do that, we'll come back to that question. Okay, let me move to Mr. Nwodi. Engineer Nwodi, sorry. Permit me for that error. What are the common misconceptions about your field as a researcher? Because here's the thing, we've gotten to a point where financial return, financial remuneration is a major variable to consider when picking a career. And personally, I think I've realized that, well, who does research in Nigeria, who gets reward and all of those things in Nigeria. So the question is, what are some of the misconceptions people have about your field? What are the real truths behind them? How do you think these misconceptions can be stopped in its track for students who are open to go into that? Because I know most students that people in academics are the ones that do more of research. So what are some of the misconceptions that you have heard from outsiders, and how can it be addressed, sir?
Okay. Thank you, Nuesa, for this opportunity. I hope I'm being heard, right?
Yes, sir, you're being heard.
Hello?
Yes, you can hear you clearly, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Let me thank our seasoned senior colleagues and panelists. It was a privilege to give back to Nuesa, where we all started my university days, and when we're sitting our quota in projecting planning. The question you asked, I'm going to go into some different steps in answering your questions. We should understand that when someone talks about research, what is key has to do with transfer of money into knowledge. And when we talk about innovation, it's about the transfer of knowledge into money. Now, there have been huge lapses of research in Nigerian universities today. You're not going to break the academia for that, because the academia pays even from his pocket for that. I know some senior lecturers and mentors in the educational system that even when they put so much research, they don't get their reward from it, in the sense that funds are not there. Now, from my own perspective, overhauling of the system matters a lot. What I mean overhauling it, what are the right things to be put in the right perspective? We've had a lot of jamboree in the country where genuine research lack funding. And even when this research are done, how is it being transformed into reality? Now, I'm so much interested when I have a discussion with students and I tell them, how do you bridge the gap between the industry and academics? What are the challenges and what can we do? Now, we should understand that probably the triple miss, what I call the triple miss. We talk about the university that has to do a lot with abstract research. We talk about the industry that does a lot with concrete applications, innovations, and profit driven. And business to make money. We talk about the government that does with the policy to it. Now we have a situation where no matter how beautiful your research is, there are policies that guide it to become a reality. Now, I remember currently, I think I was to do a presentation on our current SP conference, and I know the challenges I even got, even someone that has knowledge in trying to share my own knowledge and experience. Now I discovered that even if I have to do a research and I have to go to IOC, they will ask for something. What would they ask? They will ask, we need approval from PPRO and all this regulatory body. And sometimes it becomes tedious when you do mails, and you don't get answers. And probably when you start the process, and facilities you can do that, you have to go to the But aside that, the policies must be right. Now, we have to push this to the government. How do we push it to the government? Even when you get visible information to share, and you struggle to get funding and you're pushing and you're not getting the get result, what will you do at that point? Now, I'm trying to study the little experience I have got and how to do it, but it didn't stop me. I remember my final year project. Final year project, I wasn't the best in my class then, but I had the best final year project. It was a performance of a modular dynamic tester in Niger Delta Reservoir. I was privileged to have done IT in Slum Jail, where I worked in reservoir evaluation units. I was more interested in wildland operation, getting data, reservoir characteristics. So how did I get it going? I have to go out from the normal things students do there. What do they do? You go to other universities, get projects, you do all that. I said, no, how can I lead a and I did that. And I can tell you something. During my IT defense, the external lecturer that came was really amazed. I said, you got all this information? I said, yes. How did you get it? I kept it because it was classified. Because in Storm, they were very careful with information. Whether it not be against their corporate policies. So whatever I was working on, I was really learning from their logbooks after 1 month consistent. Every week I measure my logbooks I assigned. And I asked the needed questions I have to ask to the field. I wasn't privileged to do to the field, but I was privileged to ask questions to people that went to the field. So probably I got the information I need. The senior supervisor said, no, this is good. Okay. My financial project was simple for me because of what I was mandated to go ahead from my department. So continue the process I was doing. So it was simple for me. And I could get information from the company because I have built a relationship. Like what Mr. Clayton said, the advantage of synergy and network. I have great abilities in that. And again, I came from a professional body called SE that gave me opportunity right from university days to understand the advantage in my profession. So what did I do? I keyed in and I project value. Mentors, mentee. He that wants to be a mentee must be willing to be a good mentee and to learn from principles. Because probably when you say you have a mentor, your mentor is trying to correct you so you don't feel where he failed. So you know things he never knew. They try to guide you appropriately by counseling you. That is why when students come about mentorship, it's not about coming to your mentor to ask for assistance. That might come. It will come, but probably humble yourself and learn. Because when you learn, you be partner and you build that knowledge, you become unstoppable. I tell so many students that the sky is a starting point because of what? That is where history is written. And again, if a student wants to emulate being a researcher, you must probably get the mindset. It's not an easy role. You must prepare yourself. You must build competence. When I mean build competence, you must know your honors. You must know the topic you are dealing with. You must ask the right questions. I wanted to do a presentation and I had to call a prof. I said, Prof, can we do something? And Prof, okay, do this section, do that section. I'm somebody that I am like 60% field acquainted because probably going to the field gives me more opportunity to know how this works. And again, I will tell you something. Even in class, when I was in school, I never went to a field trip. Even the core analysis in classes and all that, even the technologies, how granted are they? What did you learn from it? But now, during one of the conferences as a student, when I went to PTI for an student for an SPA student conference, I could be able to see the direct read for the first time, the flow station, the webheads. Then I now knew why the PTI students were up there because of what 60% no practical and 40% knowledge. So you can see how that was working for them. Now, probably a student that wants to major into research, you must probably be guided. How are you guided? You must really know the topics you're working on. You must build information. You must get information from the required people in that area. And you must be able to be mentored. We have mentors in different categories. There are different disciplines across the business. That's why I'm happy the general students are listening to this. Now, I will tell you something. You that is in year one, you that is in year two, the right time to get an IT placement and internship is now that you're in year two. Start building the required network that you need. Don't say when you get to year four, you start looking. How have you built relationship in these conferences? Sometimes, look at, I tell some students, I tell them, look at what they are doing. Do you know udemy.com? They say, you know, go to udemy.com, you can learn all the skills you want to learn and for free. Even Google digital skill that is currently available now that I myself went back to learn. You understand? So that's something I could do for myself. So if students are not doing this, who will do it for them? Now you have 60% to work on yourself and build confidence, and you have to add value to yourself. It's not about the prayers. God will do what you will do, but you as an individual have your own role to play. So research is not just like research in Nigeria is not, the funds are not there. The funds, and again, the private people, the private IOCs that are into research, I think they really helped most of the academia, because I'm not a fan of giving a lecture or maybe a personal lecture, talk about SP, talk about my job role, and again, the students are not seeing practically. I teach what I saw in the reads. I'll tell you the truth. Everything I saw in the read with my experience when I was an agricultural doing a contract, I share it in classes. I tell them this is what a dairy creek is, this is what an FPSO is, this is what a drill ship is, this is what a submersible is, this is what a platform is. This is what a jack-up is. I take time to tell them in class. So probably if they see it across, they are talking to somebody that have experienced it, that have worked on it, that have seen it and know how it works. I even went far in even telling them the difference between the rig company and the IOC that owns that flower mill and the service company. So they understand how we have it probably without went to universities. You find out that most of the lectures we had, we never saw how a well looks. We never saw how a well looks. We never saw the black. Now I'll tell you something. There are many students today that don't even know the different names of hydrocarbon we have in Nigeria. Maybe we talk about the brass river from Bayelsa, the Pioneer from Akwa State, the Green Light from River State. These are information students don't know. So students have an advantage now to do a research. I teach in classes, and immediately I make a comment. Students Google it with their phones. That is the Nigerian student that we upgrade the new normal. This is the new normal. I don't see COVID relaxing in a short time. We are going to live with it because this virus has been existing for years, even before it became infectious to humans and all that. So I think a lot needs to be done for a student to be a researcher. One, you must have an interest in it, because some people, when you have a misplaced priority, you don't want this, but you are being forced to do it, you not succeed in it. You must tell yourself, this is what I want to do. I want to be confident there. Then you go close to people that are excelled in that area, so you can be good in it, and you can be grounded in it. It has stage, financial fundraising, technical input, analysis, methodology. So it comes in different phases. There's a lot Nigerian engineering students can do, but you start with them taking the right step and projecting right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate that very interesting submission. Engineer Awa, the internet is fluctuating from our end. Yeah, so I'm going to move to Mr. Sunday Fagbemiro specifically. And please, for all our participants, type in your questions in the chat box, whether on Zoom or on the YouTube channel. I've been getting some of those questions. I hope to get more so that we can make use of the Q&A session judiciously. Yes, Mr. Sunday, sir, what are the errors you have noticed in students trying to build a career in your field? You must have come across some students trying to build a career, trying to enter the field you're in. What are some of the things they've been doing wrongly? I'm going to give an example. I'm going to give an example. When people try to network with a mentor, when they try to connect with a mentor, one of the things that is being done wrongly would be that they just walk up to somebody they meet at a conference and they tell the person, I would like you to be my mentor. I have realized that method never works. People that understand relationship of mentor-mentee, they know someone else who comes and tells you, sir, I'm doing this ABCD project. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4 things, but I'm having challenges here. They would spend more time giving answers and responses to that particular person as compared to someone who is just coming and is telling you, sir, I'd like you to be my mentor. So, Mr. Sunday, sir, what are the errors you have noticed in students trying to build a career in your field, and how can these be corrected, sir?
Okay, thank you. It's afternoon there, right?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, okay. I'm asking because it's morning where I am. Okay, I'm actually, I'm currently in Canada. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Sunday Fagumri. It's an opportunity to be here, and I appreciate the moderator and the panelists and the invitation to this. I appreciate, the opportunity to come across wonderful people like Engineer KLM, Sajibade, Professor Dauda, and our mommy to the engineers. I'm really challenged. Thank you so much. But for most of my career, I've been in the private sector. And so to address your question straight to the point, I will start from the example you gave. So one thing I need students to know is this. If you walk up to somebody, let me start with that. And you say, okay, I want you to be my mentor. I want you to know that the person you are talking to is an experienced person. If somebody walks to me and the way the person is talking, I can be able to read through that person's mind. Is this person serious? Is he just coming just for formality's sake? If you really want somebody to be your mentor, you have to be deliberate about it and show seriousness about it. When I got to the private sector, I now understand that it's a different thing for you to say you are brilliant. Brilliancy and attitude, they are different things. You can be the best and get your job and not even progress if you have the wrong attitude. So if you want somebody to be your mentor, be deliberate about it, show that seriousness, show the commitment. And also, I just wanted to address that before I go to other areas of the errors. Some people go to people that I want you to be your mentor for other reasons, for some underlying reasons. Some people, when you actually want somebody to be your mentor, after you have shown the seriousness, you don't need to show that person that you're after some other things. Because other things can come later, but you want the person to read because that person is also busy, but you want to show the person that you're serious, you have good attitude, and you are not going to be a parasite. Especially, those are the things that happen when it comes to the Nigerian settings. So that is by the way. I'm in the oil and gas upstream. I work with one of the international oil companies in Nigeria. Thank God this is a gathering of engineers. One error made by students trying to build a career, especially in my field, is that people believe that you must study petroleum engineering to work in oil and gas. We are engineers. I'm not a petroleum engineer, I'm a chemical engineer. I studied chemical engineering in school. And I want you to know that oil and gas has opportunity for engineers, whether petroleum engineer, whether civil engineer, whether mechanical engineer, irrespective of your field of engineering. I remember when the advert came, when I joined my company, well, to be specific, I work with Chevron Nigeria Limited. So when the advert came then, the advert said they needed engineering. They mentioned different branches of engineering, 0 to 10 years experience. And 0 to 10 years experience, I don't even have any experience in upstream then, because then I was in the downstream. And I had to apply. Then it was the era of newspaper. The internet is not like this, and I have to just apply. And no experience in drilling. The advert was for drilling engineer, and I had to. Eventually, when we had to go through the exam, all those interviews, skill. Later, when I joined, I now understand why. For my own aspect, which is the drilling engineering, that what is needed is just your basic knowledge of engineering. You'll be trained. So don't have it at the back of your mind that if you don't study petroleum, you can't work in oil and gas. You can work in oil and gas as a mechanical engineer, as a civil engineer, as an electrical engineer, even computer engineering. There is opportunity, even computer. Well, we all know that computer engineering is applicable in any field. Another error made by some people or students is that for you to get to my field or to even work in any company in Nigeria, that you must have connections. Well, I've worked, well, I would not, how will I say it? I'm not saying there are not, there are, I mean, there are importance of making connection. Even the previous, the person I just spoke with for me, I think that's engineer Wonodi mentioned it. It's important, you need to make connections, relate with people, it's necessary. But I also want you to know that even as you are relating with people, if I know you, I'm connected to you. Let's say I'm connected to Mr. Jibade, engineer Wonodi, and we start talking. If you need somebody, maybe if you're starting a company and they need a professional, the fact that we are connected does not mean that you will just take me automatically. It needs to be sure that I'm the right person. You understand? So even as you are showing your connection, you also want to be sure that you are also updating yourself, which is also been mentioned. So there's a place of connection, but however, you need to be prepared and be proficient in your field. We cannot shift the issue of quality. All the jobs I've gotten, I mean, the current place I'm working now is the 4th place I work in terms of experience. I don't have to know anybody in the company. I have to go through the normal recruitment process. I've done a lot of interviews. I mean, you know the way it is when you are looking for a job those days. And I think go through a lot of interviews, some job offers that I've refused. It's not true connection. So I want you to get that in the, as you are graduating, whichever, irrespective of the level you are in the university, there is an opportunity for you there. But just prepare yourself for those challenges, determine to be different, decide to be exemplary in your field. And when you get out there, there's an opportunity for you. Relate with people, relate, attend conferences, as has been said, look for opportunities. But I tell you, when you put the opportunity out there and put your CV out there, there is a place for you. You don't really need to know the Minister of Petroleum, or you need to know the governor before you get a job. You can get a job. And also, just let me use your point to also mention that as you are graduating too, don't just put it at the back of your mind that you also want to be an employer of labor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. Wow. This has been a very informative session. I hope we are taking notes as participants, and I hope we are compiling our questions together. I would go back to Engineer Deni Ibitoye. According to you, you are a political engineer. Well, let me use the word, you're a politician. There are so many misconceptions around politics. So many misconceptions around politics. And getting involved in politics, getting interested. And if there's something specific that every of our panelists have been saying over and over, is policy. Policy making is an important factor if we are going to make a considerable progress. So, as a politician, as an aspiring policymaker that we are as a student, what are some of the things we must know? What are some of the misconceptions? Because now I believe there are always two perspectives. There's the perspective of the person that is involved in politics, and there's the perspective of someone who is observing from afar. So, what are some of the misconceptions? I'm going to give an instance now. One of the misconceptions we have is before you can get involved in politics, you must have a lot of money, or you must have a lot of influence. So if you don't have money and you have influence, political parties are going to sponsor you. But if you have money and all of that. So what are some of the misconceptions about being involved in politics? That's number one. Secondly, For anyone who wants to come into politics, what should we prepare our mind for? Engineer Adenire Bitoye, sir.
You have loaded me with so many questions.
Apologies.
And I think this is the best time to answer such questions. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Many people believe today that politics is a dirty game. And that is why we are getting it wrong in this part of the world. And that is what we call fear of the unknown. Many people believe that when you go into politics, you are evil-minded, you are corrupt, you are not a good person. It is not so. One thing is germane, I want everybody to understand here today is, when you are not well informed, you'll be misinformed. The best way to assist or bridging the gap probably between the academia, the industry, the politics, and that is the policy makers, is the implementation of laws, which is to reshape the system for the betterment of our education, especially in the area of research. Because without research, proper research, let me assure you that we go nowhere. You see, having good relationship with good politicians in this country will help us to do so many things well in this part of the world. We cannot compare Nigeria with advanced country, but at the same time, the best brains in the world come from Africa, and Nigeria inclusive. Are you there? Hello?
I'm with you. We are with you.
Yeah, good. I want to say this. I define we have two types of politics and politicians. Number one is we have professional politicians who are jobless, they are non-exposed, they are not educated, they are illiterate. And we have professionals in politics. That is the area, the category I belong. Professionals in politics will make things happen. They have everything to deliver. They are service-minded, they are service-oriented. In overseas countries, let me assure you, there is no advanced country that you see illiterates governing them, from the grassroots to the up. But in Nigeria, somebody who has not even passed through the walls of classroom will be leading, and you want the country to get better. In a first country, you cannot get ordinary driver's license without being educated, because you do high test, you do what we call road test, you do a lot of things. If you don't know how to read and write, how can you do that? But so is not in this part of the country. I want to assure us that why corruption thrives more in this part of the country is because of lack of focus, and our people are not service-oriented. Before you venture into politics, you must know why you want to go there. Especially in this post-COVID era, only professionals with focused mind and educational background can break the difference, can make it happen. Though we have different people from different perspectives, but look at what is happening during the election in this country. If you know what you are doing, why are we voting for the we call it in Yoruba Jagudu Geras? The corrupt people that when you just give them 500 naira, give them 1,000 naira, that is the time they will say, oh, Babala, here they want to vote for you. We should go beyond that, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. Let's join hands together to salvage this country. We need a lot of things to do in this country that will salvage the educational sector. Again, when you're talking about obvious that you asked the other person the other time, or probably we say something that is apparent. In my own field of engineering, be it mechanical that I am, because today I'm a business mechanical professional, political engineer. I am transparent. Everything about me is transparent. Politics should not change our way of life. To those people who know who I am, this is the way I behaved when I was in the hospital, even when I was in school. This has been my nature. When I was in the House of Assembly, I behaved the same way. Probably that is why God has been favorable that I have served I'm serving the third governor in my state. Look, I want our young leaders, most especially the young engineers of tomorrow, to know one thing, that politically, you can be a professional, be mechanical, civil, electrical, whatever you want to be, and at the same time practice politics very well, and you be a role model in this society. But there are some germane points I want to make here. Before you can venture into politics and you want to be successful, I want somebody to know that you need to be very smart. That is number one point. Again, you must have a good mentor. When you're talking of mentors, like the last speaker said, the last question you asked, or probably he answered the question about mentoring. You cannot just go to a mentor and just believe that you have seen a very good mentor. It is nothing bad that you call somebody your mentor, you walk into somebody and you say, oh, please, I want you to be my mentor. Yeah, it is good. But it is good that you have a good mentor that is ready to mentor you. Because what you are talking about is about you being ready to even be mentored. It is about you being ready to be trained. And apart from that, a mentee that will be mentored should be ready to be loyal to that mentor. Because you must take that mentoring opportunity you are having as a great privilege. You must be truthful and you must be open to curiosity. What do I mean by that? You must be ready, you must be striving to know better. You must be ready to ask questions at any particular time. You must be hardworking and you must be ready to volunteer. I used to tell people, when you are not service oriented, when you are not when you are ready to serve, please know that you can never be served. When you're ready to serve, people will serve you. That is it's normal. You don't need to go and pray on the mountain before that. It is what you should expect. And again, you should be focused. And you should be ready, you should be ready to be motivated by your dream and your goal. And lastly, on that point, let me say, a mentee should be flexible. You must not be rigid. It's just like a woman and a man. A woman that is leaving her house to get married to a man, you must be ready to abide by the rules and regulations of that man. So you must be flexible. You must be ready to change, especially this COVID-19. Because post-COVID, post-COVID-19 we are discussing is going to help a lot. It's going to help to reshape life of so many people if you're ready. And again, at what you're talking about, so people are ready to make it quick. I want to say this because I might not have the opportunity of talking again. I don't know how you're planning it. But we have one problem in Africa today. Our young engineers, let me say leaders, but professionals should know that don't be part of those people who are ready to make it quick. Operation make it quick. And that is why many in society, what is trending nowadays is kidnapping. So many bad attitudes is because leaders of tomorrow are just craving for quick money. Remember that Rome was not built in a day. There is no way you can just make it anyhow. Just in a moment. I, as a person, I took my time. There are a lot of patience. I went through a lot of things. I have my mentor, not even mentor, I have mentors from professional aspect to political aspect to business aspects to so many areas because I diversify into so many areas. And I have never thought of just making it okay, I want to get quick, I want to get rich. No. When I was in the NYC, I made myself available to service there. I became the parade commander for all the platoons. I was initially I was platoon 2 commander before I was raised to become the overall. Do you know it's paid and it served me very well? That one took me to Shell Petroleum to serve. From there, I found my way. But I never liked a situation whereby you restrict yourself. I want to be myself. I want to blow. But nowadays, you see our youths, they are just craving to work with multinational companies. If you don't work with NNPC, you don't work with Shell Petroleum, you don't work with Chevron, you are nobody. No. That is the area of profession. In the area of politics now, somebody will just walk onto you. My honorable, please, I want to be a politician. I want to contest for a position. What efforts have you made? Who has mentored you? What experience you have that just want to venture into politics? No, you don't just contest. Why don't you just start from somewhere? Ready to submit yourself to mentorship, to tutorship, and to so many other things that will help you in the nearest future. Because the mentors you're talking about might just be for a little time. It might not mentor you to the end of your life. And again, when you identify a good mentor, get ready to get trained under him or her, like I mentioned, and please don't make your mentor an ATM. You see many people who even come to my office today, tomorrow, every day, they'll keep asking for money. And how much is it? Just transport fee of 2,000, 3,000. It's like they're mortgaging their lives. If as a politician, as a professional politician, as a professional in politics, you want to venture into politics, please take away that ATM aspect of it. Take away that issue that, okay, I just want to make money. So when you don't get that money, you not throw yourself to a beggar in the office of your mentor or any other person. They will be running away from you. You need encouragement from them. Look at our apprentices in the past. I don't know, maybe most of you met this situation I'm talking about. Even those people that went into apprenticeship of mechanics or roadside mechanics or carpentry or whatever, they served very well. They will even send them to go and buy food. When they come back, they will still face the job. At the end of the day, when they are doing what they call freedom, they become great men of tomorrow. So many rich, overhauled people, they serve in their form. But our young people are not ready to go to that way. So please, I want us to understand the fact that if you don't know what you are doing, don't venture into anything. As young engineers, as young professionals, and leaders of tomorrow, I want us to know one fact, that it is very good that you are friendly, and if eventually you meet a friendlier mentor, you are lucky. But if not, try to be friendly by yourself. Make yourself to be friendly. And if you have a mentor who has a very good experience of life, because there's another thing having experienced in your profession, there's another thing having experienced about the society, about life itself. When you are lucky to have a mentor who is who has the experience of life, you're lucky. But be serious, be focused, but ready to, like I said earlier on about smartness and loyalty and every other thing. It's going to take you to a long way. So, young leaders, our young professionals, please, it is time to think outside the box. We have said it. We have agreed. COVID-19 has come to stay. So what happens after COVID that will cause COVID-19 is what is germane at this junction now. We need to tell the whole world that we are capable. Look at what we are doing now, Zoom. Look at WebEx, Cisco, and others. It was not, I thank someone like engineer Nuesa Grebe. Thank God engineer Mrs. Awa Sadiq, engineer Nuesa and others on the platform. They know what I've been craving for. When I was the chairman of membership, I was in membership, media and publicity. What I was craving for, what I was agitating is about going online. But today, nobody knew that COVID-19 is going to humble all of us. Either you like it or not, somebody who invented Zoom has become a multi-million dollar, not millionaire this time around. So why don't we just look at something we can do that will give us name. Be innovative, be creative, make your name. Let people see you as somebody that they can rush out. Don't be somebody that will just be looking for a job every time. Make yourself available to your mentors, to even your principals. If I continue to say all things, I don't want people to see it as if maybe I'm grandstanding here. I have served my state and I'm still serving. I've served my profession and I'm still serving. From my little profile, the abridged profile that was read, you see some things. So let me just leave you at this. If there are other questions that our young lads are ready to ask, if time permits, I'll answer. But if time does not permit, please, my email address will be made available to you. You can ask questions even on WhatsApp. I'm ready to answer you because what I love most is making impact in the lives of the young generations. Either we like it or not, one day, very soon, we will leave the stage and it's going to be for you people. So I want everybody to understand that we need ourselves. Be you a mentor, be you a mentee, we need ourselves. I've learned so many people, so many things from my mentees. Things I don't know. I don't feel shy to ask questions. I don't feel shy to look for creativity, even from my mentees. So thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. If that permits me to talk again, I am ready. And if time does not permit, please, at the end of the program, you may call me. My phone is available. I have only one phone for the past 20 years. I mean, one line. I don't change my line. I'm not the type of politicians that hide numbers or just switch off my line. If I switch off my line, it's because of network. I'm readily available to make impact in the life of young ones. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate
Thank
that.
you so much, sir.
In a moment, we are going to be coming back to every of our panelists for the rounding session to give the final words as we progress. Yes, but before we go into that, I would like to reach out to the professor specifically. I'd like to speak with the professors. I mean, there's a question directed to the professor from the participants. And I'm going to read out the question to the professor in a moment. I believe the professor is still with us.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm available.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. The question is this: aside from the oil and gas sector, the research institute and academia, the chemical engineers find it hard to build a career in other fields. For example, water and environmental sector, as civil and mechanical engineers are prepared over. How can a chemical engineer build his career? So I think this person is saying that aside from the oil and gas sector, it is difficult for chemical engineers to build career outside that restriction. What can chemical engineering students do to bridge that gap? So I'll wait for the professor.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, if I get you very well, is that the chemical engineer, apart from environmental and water resources, he has a very limited scope as far as his field of practice is concerned. Is it right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I would like to say that it is not totally true. The chemical engineer is just like the mechanical engineer. He is actually versatile. As the name implies, he combined that aspect of chemistry as well as engineering, put all together. For instance, there are some areas that we call mechatronics. And mechatronics actually is a marriage between mechanical, electronics, and ICT. So there is an aspect of mechatronics that we call factory automation, and then there is another aspect of mechatronics that we call process automation. Anything that has to do with fluid is related to process automation. And that aspect that has to do with fluid, liquid, and gas, they are all related to process automation. I'm happy because we have people that are in the oil and gas industries. They are very much conversant with this aspect of mechatronics that is referred to as process automation. The chemical engineer has significant role to play in that aspect. Things having to do with the control of volume, control of temperature, control of velocity of flow velocity, are all related to process automation. So come to think about the diverse areas of application: pharmaceutical, oil and gas industry, water, chemical industries are all part of the things that we can do. And it is increasingly becoming very clear that there is very limited or very slim interface between the engineering professions. Particularly the introduction of ICT has made the engineering profession almost seamless. All fields are interrelated and interconnected. Without the chemical engineer, sometimes it is difficult for the mechanical and electrical engineer to actually operate. And for us to satisfy the 21st century requirement of high speed, high efficiency, we need all the engineering aspect to collaborate together to come up with materials that will be able to respond to the needs of the areas of operations. So the chemical engineer has diverse opportunities and diverse areas of application, just like any other field of engineering. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir, for that. Engineer, Mr. Kletus,
Can I just add something?
Definitely.
To any location, who can just run?
I just wanted to add something. A nice one from what the prof has said. One of our leaders in NSC, Victoria, said a lot of very mentorship. Just a shout out to him on that. Back to the question.
Yes.
So let me add to what the prof has said.
Yes.
Now, from what the prof has said, is very clear in area of specialization for any student or young engineers that want to build capacity. Now, I'll tell you something concerning this question. When I looked at it, we always feel guilty in it as petroleum engineers. We petroleum engineers always feel guilty because we saw probably the chemical being very diverse. Any industry that has to do with fuel control has a lot to do with chemical engineering. You can be surprised that if you even go to an industry that has nothing to do with the oil and gas, they still employ chemical engineering. So I think such students should be able to understand and build company with a trend from chemical engineering perspective. Now, probably like this PDMS, I have to do a lot with process safety and control. That even if a chemical engineering student from the university can build competence there. Now, this is the best place to learn because sometimes when you leave the university, you become preoccupied with the things. As a student, you have the time to read, the time to learn, and the time to build competence. Now, probably you bridge the gap. I'm still considering the gap in academic and industry. How do you the role chemical engineering can play? That's why the chemical engineering, I would advise them have a mentor that is experienced and vast in the company. One in academia, the other one in industry. They ask your mentors, what is the trend and what is in for me?
Oh, I think there's an issue with internet connection from his end. There's an issue. So while we wait for him to join us back, Engineer Ajibade, this question is directed to you specifically, sir. Are you still with us, sir?
Yes, yes.
Oh, great. Now, talking about innovation in Nigeria, we have a lot of students that have ideas. As a matter of fact, some of them have proof of concepts. Some of them have gone to the point of having MVP. But a major challenge that people have been have been having is funding and market penetration. And I believe you've done a bit of this in the IT world. How can we break that barrier? Market penetration and getting funding.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Yeah, it's actually a common problem within the tech community or startup community. If you have an innovative idea, if you have something, to offer, if you have a problem and that you want to provide solutions to, I believe the first thing that we should do shouldn't be about funding or shouldn't be about about money. I think the first thing is, what exactly are you trying to solve? What solution are you providing? You understand? That solution you are providing, how many people are in need of it? In Nigeria, for example, you take a particular market, a particular niche. I want to solve that problem. How many people are passing through that problem? Is it just, do you have 1 million Nigerians passing through that problem? Or do you have just 20,000 Nigerians passing through that problem? So when you go out to get funding from people or from investors, angel investors, venture capitalists and all that, the first thing they want to know is that, what is the scope of your business? They want to know your business model. How do you plan to make money from it? Because there is no investor that will be willing to give out money free of charge without some return. They always need return on their investment. So you must have create a niche for yourself, understand the problem you are solving, and go to people who can actually invest in that problem, in your startup, brother. So another thing is that sometimes it might be difficult getting funding. Like I said, you are just starting out. Sometimes it could just be an idea, or like you said, you have an MVP, you've not really tested it. So some people may not be willing, to invest. But there are different platforms online now for Nigerians, for young people. I remember when we started to, we applied to so many opportunities, so many funding opportunities. At a time like this, you don't have to wait until you see somebody who will invest in you. No, there are platforms. I know of Tony Elumelu Foundation. This man and his foundation has been trying to empower young people, young entrepreneurs like us in Nigeria, in fact, across Africa. So these are opportunities you apply to. And beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa, there are opportunities outside as well. There is the Ford Foundation. There is Melinda B. Gates Foundation. We have Mark Zuckerberg Chan Foundation. So these are platforms you apply to. But you must understand also that as you apply to all these, international organizations for funding and all that, it may not really be easy sometimes. Be ready for rejections. Be ready for denials. These are things you have to go through as a young entrepreneur, because we are bringing out a solution that people have not tested. We are bringing out a solution that people may be doubtful, because I was opportune to be at a place. There is an investment company in the US. I don't know if you've heard of Y Combinator. So these are platforms that you can go to and pitch your idea to them. People are ready to actually give their money. The era has passed. The era, in those days where you have your money in your bank, your money is doing nothing. People are beginning to realize that they must invest their money, for them to get returns on their investment. So there are people who are willing to give out money to startups or to founders, to young founders. But the first thing is, what is your business model? You must be able to do that. And if you are asked, if an investor meets you on the way and asks you, what do you do? there's something called your elevator pitch. You must perfect your elevator pitch. Within 3 seconds, within 5 seconds, what are the keywords? What will you tell me, or what do you tell that investor that will captivate that person? They call it elevator pitch because when you are in an elevator, you are in the lift, and you are moving, within few minutes, you have just few minutes to spend with somebody in an elevator. So within that space, how can you pitch your idea? What will you tell that person? Are you solving a problem in agriculture? Are you solving a problem in different areas? When we started, we discovered that Nigeria was one of the there was child, what's it called? Maternal issues in Nigeria. Women were dying, different things were happening. And we came together, we wanted to provide a solution, but we made our research. We found a solution. We made our research. We discovered that a lot of Nigerians, in fact, statistics showed that in every 10 minutes, a pregnant woman dies in Nigeria. It's so alarming. I think after India, Nigeria was, had one of the, was the largest contributor to infant and maternal mortality. So it's a big thing. So if you say you have a solution or a product, research it very well. What is the business model? What is the scale of the issue? Is it something that a lot of Nigerians are passing through? Because that's what an investor will look at when you go to them for funding. Like I said, you talk to them, meet with them, then network. There are different events. If it is a tech solution, I believe the tech community in Nigeria is growing now. If you're in Abuja, if you're in Lagos, if you're in Port Harcourt, if you're in Ibadan, try to move close to all those tech events. Attend tech events. There is CC Hub in Lagos. There is there are different hubs in different places. I think there's Innovate Lab in Ibadan. So try to be in those places and see how to have access to those opportunities. And also, please apply to international opportunities as well. Don't just limit yourself to people in Nigeria. Funding may be difficult in Nigeria. Sometimes you may not really get, in fact, with the value of dollar now, you may not really get something from Nigerian investors, but there are people outside the country who are willing to invest in Africa. In fact, I'm happy that a lot of companies, abroad today are beginning to realize that Africa has the capacity. The tech skills are there. You've heard of Andela, you've heard of, Utiva. There are different companies that are trying to, help, provide solutions to problems. They are training others. So investors are looking, they are coming to Africa. In fact, Facebook was in Mark Zuckerberg rather was in Africa. Was it last year or last 2 years? Google CEO was also there. It is because they understand the impact that Africa is playing in the tech ecosystem. So if you have a solution, if you have something that you want to offer, yes, carry out a proper market research. Make sure it's a problem that a lot of people are passing through, and approach investors or apply to platforms, and definitely you get funded. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to be taking closing remarks. I'm going to be taking closing remarks from our panelists. In a moment, and I would like to start from. I would like to apologize for, on behalf of Engineer Hawa Mohammed. The network did not really support. The network was fluctuating. But interestingly, we'll have her on board tomorrow. Tomorrow is another interesting session for the ladies in the engineer. So we're going to be having a very, very interesting session tomorrow with females in engineering. So I apologize for that. So I'll be starting with Engineer Nwodu to take the closing remark. We'd like to hear the closing remark from you, sir. Engineer Nwodu. I'm not sure he is still connected. The network has really been unfair. The network has been unfair. All right, let me move on to Professor. Professor, I would like to take the closing remark from you, sir. Engineer Professor Mohammed Dauda.
Thank you very much. As I said earlier, it is important for us to understand that if the government policy fails to give us what we require. It is therefore necessary for us not to be discouraged. We keep pushing to continue to push, using our best to see how we'll be able to revolutionize teaching and learning in Nigerian universities and any other part of learning and teaching so to the advantage of the country. It is important to note here that in Nigeria, the internet penetration of the telecommunication ICT in whole is still at dismal level. For instance, we understood that from March 2020, the telecom subscribers in Nigeria stood at about 189 million. Out of this, about 40% operates on 3G and 4G, 59% on 2G. You can see that what we require to move or as to serve as a backbone for our e-learning and all other mobile learning or e-collaboration, including the Zoom, is the internet, connectivity. I'm sure that one of us now that was unable to be part of this particular, activity is as a result of internet connectivity. As I enumerated earlier, we have to look at the three aspects altogether: the content infrastructure, the delivery infrastructure, and the access infrastructure must be looked into. The content infrastructure has to do with the data centers. The delivery infrastructure has to do with the satellite that will give us the availability of internet coverage, while the access are the computers our inability to have our own satellites that will make data cheap. So these are some of the things that the government will have to look into, and in collaboration with private practitioners. Now, coming to the other things that we have escaped a little bit, the Finland that was considered one of the best in terms of education in the whole world. They did not do it without the help of other people. They took the American model and then polish it and bring it to their best. And it is not something new, apparently. We have to just change the way we look at things. Their own is based on critical thinking, which is the ability of judgment. That is the critical thinking that Finland based all their activities upon. It is not a matter of giving somebody a task, of making this person understand that learning could be fun, And I would like to close this aspect by giving you a typical example of how this thing works. When I finished my PhD in 2002, I returned to Nigeria from Japan. I established the first e-library in the university. It was my own private library. That time it was difficult to even use email. So I encouraged my students to submit their reports to my email account. And I gave them enough opportunity to go to my website, download important textbooks and their assignments. Then they submit their assignments and tests online, their reports online. The second aspect of what I did was also to come up with an idea of something that I call video class. And in video class, I also innovate by asking my students, for example, we all know about corrosion. I now give them my own personal digital camera to go and take cases of corrosion, snap the photographs by themselves, write report, attach the photographs on the report using their computers, and prepare PowerPoints and present their report using the PowerPoint. So it became very, very interesting for the students. To make it also interesting for the students of the University of Maiduguri, then I will devote a time for the class to divide themselves into groups to make presentation of their findings. Whenever they are going to make presentation, I always feel very happy because the students will actually dress very, very well with their necktie and make presentation, even though even though PowerPoint wasn't available so much. I mean, computers were not so many available. So at that time, they did that particular aspect of presentation, which I refer to as video class. Little did I know that all that I was doing for fun, it was when Ford Foundation opened a competition to Nigerian universities that I was advised to apply. And when I applied, I exactly relied on these two innovations that I made at that time, and the Ford Foundation found me worthy of giving an award. And that was how I got Ford Foundation Teaching Innovation Award in 2003. So if in 2003 we could be innovative, I'm sure that both students and teachers could be more innovative in 2020 and beyond, so that the university teaching and learning environment will be revolutionized, so that to allow us to be at par with the international community. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. That was amazing. If there could be innovation in 2003, definitely we can do more in 2020. We can do more in 2020. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. We sincerely appreciate it. And definitely, we will reach out to you more. We'll connect with you on social media, on LinkedIn, and send our ideas to your emails. And we are very assured that we have an open hand from your end. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, I would like to move to Mr. Sunday Fagbemiro for your closing remarks, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity. So to round up, for the engineering students, I just want to let them know that the world has changed, and the only thing that is constant is change. That's your phone that you have with you. There's a reason why it is called smartphone. Many people, there are a lot of things you can do with your phone. Even as an entrepreneur, a lot of things you can do with your phone. To your hardworking, hard smartness to it. You can be what you want to be, so far you are not lazy. It's in the Bible, and I believe also we have some prayer like that in the Quran, that a diligent man will stand with kings and not with mean men. I want you to know that it's no more business as usual. The train is moving, so make sure you are not left behind. Gone are those days in which our parents will tell you that read, so that you can be the best. Yes, read, but also in addition to your reading, learn a skill. Please learn a skill. Increase your digital fluency. Just like Mr. Ajibade mentioned, increase your digital fluency. Digital fluency now is not about you studying computer only or electrical electronics. Irrespective of your field, make sure you increase your digital fluency. Look at even most of us in the corporate world now, we work from home. I work in Nigeria, but currently I'm in Canada now, and I'm working, and I'm still working. So the COVID, the internet, the way the world is now a global village. You can work from anywhere. So increase your digital fluency. Every day you can learn something. As I am now, I'm still learning. I'm even a student of masters. I've just registered I'm starting now another course in a university, Memorial University of Newfoundland, studying technology management. So please, there is no limit to learning. Online resources is there. So make sure you use the available opportunities. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much for that, sir. We really appreciate that contribution from your end. And definitely, these are information we definitely will run with. you've mentioned quite a lot. We're definitely going to do more with this information. We'll learn. Smartphone is not going to be for just social media alone. It's going to be a source of added value to ourselves. Let me go to Mr. Cletus Ajibade for your closing remarks, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you once again for having me here. As a closing remark, I just want to say that as students, especially as engineering students, we need to spend time to really learn, the skills. It is not just about, cramming and passing exams. We must understand that the world now need people who are skilled in their chosen profession. So please, if you are still in school, if you're in your final year, try as much as possible to learn a skill. Learn a skill. Don't just read to pass exams. Then that's number one. Then number two, we've talked about creating opportunity for mentorship. I think it should also start from school. Now that you are in school, you don't have to wait until you get a job before your boss becomes your mentor. Now that you are in school, because I noticed that a lot of students they don't have a close relationship. They don't have a mentor-mentee relationship with their professors, with their lecturers, or with their HOD. I tell you, you will still need these people, after you've left the university. You want to further your studies, you want to get a master's, you're applying for different opportunities and all that. You will be asked to get a reference or get recommendations from school. So if you don't spend time to build relationship with your lecturer, with your professor, how will you be bold enough to approach them to write a letter of recommendation for you? So I've learned that, and I thank God I was able to do that during when I was still in school. I was able to build that relationship with my professors, even outside, people that that supervised me. Don't just limit the mentorship with your supervisors in school. Reach out to other lecturers, learn from them. And unfortunately, some of them have, they schooled abroad. They know what goes on outside, beyond Nigeria. So, learn from them. Try to build that relationship so that when you need them, you can, go back to them and they will be willing to write letters of recommendation for you. Then also, not just your lecturers now that you are in school, you can still reach out to people in the industry. Reach out to them and, reach out to them and learn from them. I'm sure they'll be willing to help you. I have people who have reached out that are still in school. And, when such a person needs an opportunity in the future, because of the fact that we've built a relationship, I'll be willing to, I'll be moved to help. But if that relationship is not there, the opportunity will not be there. So try as much as possible. Don't say you are still in school, you must wait till you get into the industry before you start building mentorship. No, LinkedIn is there. Like we have said, on LinkedIn, try to connect with people, send messages to them, connect with them, and definitely they will reply. Then another thing I want to say is that now start applying to opportunities. Start applying to opportunities. When you are in school, there are different places where you can actually have an internship. You can do internship at different places. So while the school is on break, don't waste that time. Of course, in fact, at this time, you are not studying, you are not in school. So make best use of the opportunity now that you are at home. There are online internships that you can do. In fact, most companies today have moved all their internship programs online. There are people who have been employed in big companies and they are sitting there at home and they are working for businesses. I have friends, I have young people even there in Nigeria that are working. They are interning for companies in the US, in Canada, and all that. So take time now to look for those opportunities. Go online. Are you planning for your master's degree abroad? Are you, whatever it is you are doing, start now. I remember when I was 7, during my NYC year, If I arrived from school, I was always thinking I would travel abroad for my master's. I needed that opportunity. I needed the exposure. So during my service year, I kept on applying, and I had like 5 or 6, offers of admission during my service year. I was the one selecting. I was the one rejecting. But you must realize, you must have that consciousness now that you can start doing those things. Not until you started working for 3 years and now realize, I need to get a master's, or I need to travel abroad and all that. Now start making those, start finding out those opportunities and start applying to them. And definitely you'll go far as an engineering student. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate. Most importantly, start now. Start now. It's a battle against time. Start now. You want to do anything, start now. You are in your 100 level, 200 level, start applying for internship. And if there's something I learned, uh, is that if a 5 years experience is needed and you started applying for job opportunities from your 100 level, you would have spent the next 4 years while still on campus to make every mistake you could make at interviews. So whenever you are ready to work, you've learned everything you needed to learn. You have prepared yourself. You have spent those periods experimenting and learning. So start now for all our participants, for every student that is with us, start now. Opportunities are online. Get skills that you can work with remotely. That's another thing that is coming up now. So those who needed to be on the physical location before they can work, their skill is being, somehow it's been questioned now. So whatever skill you are going to go for, ensure it's something you can deliver remotely as much as possible so that you can work from home. And when companies are telling you, we want to evolve, you will be able to evolve with them easily. Well, thank you very much for that. And I think Engineer Nwodu is not with us. He had to attend to some other assignment. Yes, lastly on my list for today,
I'm here. I'm
oh,
here.
fantastic. Oh, fantastic.
Hello,
That is great.
I'm here.
I can hear you. So I would
I
like to
connected
have,
back with my phone.
oh, great, great. I would like to have your,
I connected back with my phone.
okay, so I'd like to have your closing remarks, sir.
Okay, so much has been said. Sorry, network frustration and all that. Engineer Cletus said a lot, and then the other speakers. And I think he that has ears, let him hear and project value. Now, my last comment has to do with students being very hungry. You must be very hungry to build competence. You must be very hungry to take your pace and move ahead. Rome wasn't built in a day, doesn't mean that you're not going to do your own assignment properly towards that. Now, there are a lot of students that even in this pandemic, I can tell you there are students that have not learned one skill. And our advice, learn a non-seasonal skill. We're talking about AI now. We're talking about big data. There are so many online platforms where you can learn for free, even if it's just the basis, be grounded in it. I remember when I learned Prosper for production, then when I was in my final year through IPS, but we were given a certificate, but at least the basis, we're able to learn with that. And I know the value that have affected my life with. So not just you being a student, the pandemic, you are on social media. I would say don't keep in touch with your friend, but know why you are here and what is happening. And because the bigger picture is you have situations where you don't need to be there to work. Now, many companies are even downsizing because their visual meetings is giving them an advantage. People are working from home. Working from home is not easy. I've passed through that a lot. I know how difficult it is, but it's a new trend, it's a new normal. Now, how do students build this skill to build competence? How do you close out with your mentors? And how do you ask the relevant questions? How do you bridge the gap between the academic? Because today's theme was really interesting when I saw the gap between the academics, the knowledge, and the industrial requirement, because there has always been a lacuna there. You find out that from the classroom that is full of so much theoretical, how do you reference that to the industry for the student to understand? Most polytechnic achieve that like 50%, but in the federal universities, you hardly see that. So student has to do a lot in what? In researching and using the smartphone. The phone you have in your hand is a weapon. I'll tell you the truth. It's a weapon embedded with knowledge. There is if in your choosing course, neither any classification of you being an and engineering students, or probably in different science profession. You can as well get in contact with your professional body, like maybe the chemical engineering student, your professional body, the petroleum student, and all that. When you go to those meetings, where you see these industry corporate persons coming to do presentation, maybe their multi-technical meeting or whatever, you build contact and you stay in touch. That hunger in you, seeing them succeed, will spur you to say, I want to be this, I want to be that. So, Oksa, what do I need to do to get to this place? Because there is a lot of time now, but people don't know that the time you have now, you must use it to add something new. After this pandemic, when I mean after the pandemic, maybe if the pandemic subsides and we are all back to work, physical presence, I know so many companies, even so many institutions will ask this question. During these 4 months you are at home, during these 3 months you're home, what new skills did you learn? What are you bringing? What are you thinking? I think students have a role to become brand ambassadors of themselves if they sit down, ask the right question, project value, learn, and build competence. Thank you very much, Nuesa.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that contribution from your end and taking the effort to switch to mobile. That's for everything. Really appreciate. Yes, going forward, I would like to take the closing remark from Engineer Honorable Adeniran Bitoye. I would like to take a closing remark from him.
Thank you so much, Nuesa. I decided to stay to the end because I have a meeting scheduled for 2 o'clock, but I just have to do this. Because of lack of time, let me just say that our students should not be thinking about the strike, the incessant strike being embarked upon by the lecturers. At times, we cannot blame the lecturers for everything. But when it comes to play, students and young engineers should be mindful of what they do at that particular time. We should be deeply knowledgeable about anything we are doing. We should be striving for updating and upgrading ourselves. We should not be thinking of just acquiring certificates. Don't just think of your graduation, of your convocation. We have some students who have been saving towards the convocation, but they are not saving towards their future. They are just thinking of the celebration they will have after school. That is not it now. Time has changed. Things are changing, and just take it that things will continue to change. It cannot be a business as usual, as my co-panelists have said. We should be thinking, even what we did not do during one time, students should be thinking ahead. Your projects should be industry-based. You should not be discouraged about anything whatsoever. The system itself is wrong, but we should be part of those people that will be ready to reshape the system. Don't be one of those people that will be sleeping all hours. Think, be intelligent, and be wise in every approach. Nigeria belongs to us. It is not everybody that will have the opportunity of running to overseas countries. It is not everybody that has the money and everything available to go to overseas. As Nigeria belongs to us, be ready to make it in this country. Not until you embezzle, not until you are corrupt, that you should be thinking that you cannot be rich until you get corrupted or until you embezzle. No. Please, there should be no room for any excuses. There shouldn't be any room. Your life belongs to you, and you must be ready to work. What I'm talking about today, like somebody said, please be ready to attract yourself to professional bodies. When you talk of NSC, you talk of your divisions, be ready, so that these people will help you a lot. That is where mentorship starts. One thing that is germane, innovation, creativity, and other things, and you must be contented. You must be contented in everything you do. Please, the time is now. There's no good money anywhere, free money anywhere. There's no good free money anywhere. It is devilish when you think you want to look for good money, for free money, and it's going to affect you. So to bridge the gap between academic world and industry based, you need the policymakers, you need to get closer to them so that we can move this country forward. On this note, I want to appreciate Nuesa, appreciate my co-panelists, appreciate everybody for what we have done. May God be with us. And at the same time, anytime you invite me, I'm readily available for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the time. Really appreciate the audience. We understand you have a very busy schedule, but you took time out for us. Thank you so much. This is to the students in general, the participants in general. We have identified that the system can be challenging, but here is the truth. The system will get away with wasting your time. You will not get away with wasting your time. The system is going to get away. Nobody's going to hold the system responsible for you to have not done what you are supposed to have done. But you're not going to get away with wasting your time. Yes, there's pandemic, there's lockdown, there's strike, and all of that. The system is at disadvantage. The curriculum might not be up to date. The system will get away with wasting your time. You are not going to get away with wasting your time. So always do everything possible to leverage on available resources, internet, and all of that. Today has been interesting. Thank you for everybody that came. In a moment, I would be having engineer Mrs. Nene Igwe to take the closing remark. While we wait for her to come online, she is with us. She has been with us since the beginning. She will be taking the closing remark. So please, let us do more than just keeping this information in our pocket. Let us go beyond just keeping them in our diaries, all right? Let us be proactive. You're welcome, Engineer Mrs. Nena Webe.
Thank you. You're a true Nigerian, so I remain Engineer Nena Igegbe. Everything, much has been said. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Much has been said, and I'm so much grateful for all the panelists making out time to be with the young engineers, especially the students. I have worked with 4 Nuesa presidents, and I think Monsuru Dauda Olatunji is exceptional. I took interest because while we were talking some months back, his ideas were wowing me, and he actually knows when to get me, which is like from 10 in the night, 12, we'll talk till about 2 a.m. just to get things done. And I'm a fan of the young ones because I know what I passed through as a student. And that hunger, like has been established here, is very, very pertinent. You have to have hunger. And that's the hunger that made me come up with the BTG. That's the Bridge the Gap initiative. And I will not relent until I realize that at least a number of the students will know what they want even before they enter the school. I love what the Professor Dauda has said about the CDA infrastructure, talking about the content, development, the delivery, and the access to this infrastructure for us to take the initiative of having these of course, you know what I'm talking about, the post-COVID initiative using the digital world. Yeah. Then the AI is there, and some other things have been mentioned. I want the students, the young engineers, to take this. Don't take it, don't have this lackadaisical attitude. You have to take it up. You have to know what you want. It's not time to use WhatsApp chat and everything. It's good, but plan your time. And when you plan your time, you come out with a good result. One of the panelists said that it was from school that he started thinking of how to go outside the country. The last Nuesa president asked him. I told him, in fact, I walked up to him. I said, Etu, what are your plans? He said this, that. I said, I don't know your plans. I don't want to know your plans, but I want you to go and start filling form to get admission. I think he's planning on his youth service now. So I want to encourage everyone that have been on this panel, that you have done wonderfully well. And we want to say thank you, and thank you. And when we call upon you next time, please be available. Engineer KLM, Gina Dauda, Fagbeniro, I can't remember all the names, but I want to say thank you to all of you, and we appreciate you and want to see you next year. And I'm sure, like the Korean president has said earlier from his presentation, the next Nuesa president will take the bar higher, and that is what I'm looking forward. And I hope I'll still be there to help out as usual. Thank you and God bless you. And our wonderful moderator, thank you so much. You have done excellently well. Keep it up. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for those kind words. Really appreciate the motherly support we've gotten from you. From the planning stage, it's been a major concern. It's been a lot of headache, sincerely trying to plan everything and make it work. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the support. We really appreciate it. And we apologize for taking your time. We keep you awake at night. Yes, we can. Planning event like this can be so demanding. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So, Jim, we're taking the national anthem as we bring today's event to a close. And please, tomorrow we're going to start. We'll be having a session for with the engineering women in engineering tomorrow. Please, for every participant, for every student that has gotten one value or the other today, do make it a date to be here tomorrow. All right, wherever you are, we'd like to honor our nation as we bring today's event to a close. Thank you very much, and have a beautiful day.